Oh, it's English on land. He's going to win, finally. One and all, welcome back to the channel for our grand final showdown in midweek muster number 17 between B and MarineLorD. A grim showing right now for B, but maybe an opportunity to finally strike back before a redraft. Order of the Dragon up against English on Coastal Cliffs. This has to be a good old-fashioned longbow rush down the center, right? This is nothing else. This is a terrible map for 2TC Boom because the stone starts so far away. And also, 2TC in the current Pro Scouts meta is a death sentence. So I think we actually have finally got a fairly solid shot at a B win. Let's put up predictions to see if people feel the same. Look at the deer spawns as well. Nice and spread out, discombobulated, which is exactly what you want. Here's OOTD, because English want to try and play something like longbows, camp. They're not going to get the opportunity to easily do so. And if they want to rush your base, they're not actually going to block any deer packs whatsoever. Yeah, I'm still confused where the negativity is coming about, like AoE 4 dying or what. Like, dude, we're not dying. We're getting 2 DLCs this year. I'm really scratching my head why there's just sudden negativity in the chat around AoE 4. Like, we're in a great spot, guys. Literally, 8th of April, first DLC releases. We've got a second one coming late in the year. By the way, think of the implications. They've already teased with the Knights Templar getting units from Spain, clearly, as well as the Venetian fleet, which we covered in our YouTube video. You should check that out if you have not. We're probably getting like a prelude to Venetian, Spanish, and other civs, and the likelihood of them getting added to the game later on. I don't know. I think we're in a great place. That's my personal take. I think the only thing I'd change way before is I said it the other day. I almost want them to take the memeful Overwatch 2 route of just relaunching the game as AoE 5. Now, the difference is, unlike Overwatch 2, don't promise things and then rug pull. Just give everyone what they get. But the reason why I say that, and I know some people are already cringing, but here's the reason. It would bring so many more people in. Because it's like people... Weirdly enough, people don't respond the way you'd hope to great recovery arcs for games. They just don't realize it. Like, me and my partner only started playing a little bit No Man's Sky the other month. We never bothered all those years. Even though, like, apparently it was great for years. It got fixed. It didn't matter. So many people are like that. It's hard to get people to take even a second look. Yeah. I'm hoping B is going to last to take a second look at this series, though. Arkin is about to complete. Other side of this, MarineLorD with the Abbey of Kings. He might actually play the Horseman strat. Update the graphics. So I think there is, like, I've said this before, I don't think our graphical, like, system is perfect, per se. Some people are going to hate to hear that. But I've said before, like, whatever it is they do, like, it's this. You see the shoots of grass? I genuinely think the terrain adds unnecessary GPU loads and doesn't actually beautify the scene that much. But what it does, from a recording perspective, which is terrible for marketing, for streamers, whatever, tends to make the game look very grainy and pixely. I think the cloud shadows is fine. Like, the cloud, like, no, dude, please, the shadows, like, as depth, that's fine. It's genuinely the way that everything brushes, like, all the way that, like, the grass brushes across the terrain. Same with trees. Like, trees, you guys know when we play, like, big-sized maps of things like Hideout, there's a reason why it's hollowed out. And that's because the performance hit. That's why we were never able to really do Forest Nothing. Forest Nothing, whenever we try to run custom lobbies with the community, it would crash people's lobbies. So, meantime, we do have the Pro Scouts play coming out. He did open with single gilded horseman. We are now getting the cavalry action out of MarineLorD. Oh my god, he's actually going to do it. I didn't want to say it out loud. I didn't want to jinx it. I mean, we have seen Pro Scouts before from the English, but it can sometimes feel odd, especially when you're doing it against a superior civ. And I think it would be fair to call Order of the Dragon a superior pro scank civ. So ballsy maneuvers coming out. How do you guys gamble, by the way? Is this the first time where... Oh, wow. Okay, I was about to say, is this the first time where B actually has the higher percentage of gamblers? No. MarineLorD still somehow has more by 1%. Do people really care that much about graphics? I think, in general, in gaming, people are way too fixated on realistic graphics. And also, that's led to the Unreal Engine brain, where every game just uses Unreal Engine type assets and they all look the same. For me, what matters from a graphical style isn't if it looks realistic, it's if it looks immersive. Does it fit the style it's trying to embody? For example, when I was playing through Bolt Gun, which is a Doom-inspired Warhammer game, that was perfect. You want to make a Doom-inspired Warhammer game, it should look like old school Doom. And yet I could tell every single heretical unit that I was purging from existence and what it was. I think sometimes people misunderstand what makes good graphical design. And Avowed had some issues with its graphical style, but one thing it done very well was its color palette. It had a very, very vibrant color palette. So we are getting the Horseman strat, by the way. I thought this is where we're going. The whole idea is you just bulk them up, you heal them as you run away, you keep coming into fights. It's very difficult to do against Gilded Horsemen, though. These things just feel like they take forever to die. And now that B knows this, does he actually try to hang around the age? I'd be surprised. I feel like you just want to get your deer home and then get to the next stage. But MarineLorD is being such a nuisance. Snatching away from his opponent's side. Spearman reaction now coming in. I mean, I like that MarineLorD is switching. If it's just skirmish and poke, you can play this Horseman strat. But if it's just raw, we're going to get to the point where we're both A-clicking a big fight. These guys will win. And then they'll fold into your base. So he needs that second line of defense to be safe. Bit weird pathfinder there. And like the other thing I've said about the visuals, like a broken record at this stage, there needs to be more emphasis on things like attacks, etc. Because when you're zoomed out like this, you can barely see these guys really just going about it. Part of it is just you need to take all the animations, like here. Just imagine if there's a bigger swing of the spear. Same with the swords. Like, you want to, like, if we want to be real, like, that's the thing that makes AoE 2 hold its visual fidelity in a lot of people's eyes. Like, dude, those guys swing like crazy. If you guys watch them, it looks like they're doing basically 360 swings with their arm, with their swing swords. There's feedback I gave the devs before. Like, imagine if the French Knights, they added like 30 degrees or 40 degrees to their swing. I almost want it to look overly dramatic so that you really feel like you're immersed in the fight. Maybe that's just my wacky Michael Bay brain. I still maintain the best animation ever for the Hussars in the history of video games is Cossacks 1. If you know, you know. If you don't, you've been robbed of a joy. I remember the first time that I saw a Cossack Hussar, I didn't want to go near him. He looked like he'd rip my limbs off. I also would like to see them just paint the arrows more kind of black so they stand out against terrain more. A bit of poke coming. Spearmen are going to have to be bailed on here. This is getting weird, man. Like, this should have reached castle on one stage by now. It looks like MarineLorD is trying to find his way out, but B is doing a great job of forcing him to come back again and again and again. But with the addition of Gilded Spearman, he's making the correct call. He just needs to get out. This is not a winnable fight anymore. I love what B done here. He so eloquently made this more about just non-stop fighting as opposed to trickle raiding. Trickle raiding is how this strategy works. It thrives on this idea that you can just come in and out of the fight and there'll be a gap of a minute or two per. That isn't happening. B is just doing everything he can to vomit more things into the face of MarineLorD. How do you get this type of color? You have to get my PC. I have some alterations within OBS to get the color vibrancy. Another thing that I've highlighted way before is why we actually tweak the colors slightly. In fact, I can show you quickly. Like most of you, I've asked before, and you've been like, yeah, I prefer it with it on. It adds a pop, a level of pop that I think the default color scheme doesn't have. I wish it did. And B has less workers because remember, all of the dragon villages produce slower. They take an extra 3 seconds. So every 3 minutes, you're meant to be worker behind, right? No, less than 3 minutes. Burgrave down the way. B, interesting. With his army this big, I thought he'd try to get away Regnets. I think he could have, but he takes the non-greedy route. Yeah, I think B's just going to double down on what he's been doing so far. Vomit troops more and more. And likely this time, men-at-arms. What's crazy to me is the fact that he added in Spearmen against English in the first place. We didn't really get around to talking to that, but it's because at that stage, with the Plane to Horseman Spears, MarineLorD, with Pro Scouts as well, doesn't really want to go back to Lombos. Not against Gilded Horsemen. It's a death sentence. So other side, we did get the more normal choice. King's Palace coming in this situation. No pressure onto him. This could still work for B. The logic being is because there's no white tower and you're going for the aggressive choice, your opponent has no defensive leg to stand on. Wait, was the AoE4 land stream quality that bad? I didn't know. I didn't look. I wouldn't know with my top tier gaming PC and production PC. Which right now, guys, with us recording, streaming, game running, it's at 41 degrees. AMD power. Exclamation mark AMD. This is a big boy army, by the way. He even just puts the horseman in, but the veterans, he just came through. He got bid. I don't know if this is the fight you want as much anymore. Your own veterancy is lagging so far behind. Knights now arriving as well. Surely just a little bit more effort and he'll be able to break in. The problem is going to be stat defenses. This is a lot of injured, low HP bars for the OOTD's frontline force. So he needs to ripple this into worker kills ASAP. He's still limbing around. Crossbow's now being targeted. He's going to go after the outpost. Gilded Archer's here as well. Monastery has to be cancelled in the meantime, but despite how good that fight looked for B, the reality check of this one, the aftermath, he just doesn't have anything to follow up with right now. He's not even going for relics yet. I'm getting a bit skeptical. Like, B, if he gets another wave up here right now, he can still make this work. But it needs to be ASAP. Now, this is like the classic type of game you look at, and you just go, this is why OOTD needs H3 marching drills. I mean, they'd be broken with it, but like, these are the type of games you look at and you're like, if I just had those units just a little bit faster, just a tiny bit faster, the difference it would have made. No, this Burgrave is not one of the worst landmarks in the game. It's worse when you're doing this. So if you're not using it, it's terrible. But if you're constantly pumping out of it, the savings you get per minute make it worth the investment. And possibly the worst time to start looking for relics. I don't think B was quite expecting MarineLorD to walk out of his base this quickly after the dive. No, and his army's slightly out of position. However, this could turn into a beautiful backstab. One low very early. He's gonna go for the snipe. We'll be able to get it just in time. Crossbows just don't have a good target. I mean, this is kind of comical. MarineLorD is built to counter something that just doesn't exist. MarineLorD, see? I mean, we are the men-at-arms in the room with us right now. Of course, they are still around this way. You couldn't see them MarineLorD, there are no men-at-arms. What are you on the bit? Get off here, man. Are the knights in the room with us? Whee! Oh, MarineLorD. Nah, he's realized now. He's switching over the longbows. So longbows are going to be an interesting one here, actually, because you've opened the floodgates for something scary. If you get seen doing this early, B can just prep scale armor. And then Gilded Archers just defeat all. I think MarineLorD... No, Knights might still be able to save him here. As long as you can keep affording that. We do have more farm clusters coming in, but it feels a little bit slow. The other thing the Knights are doing well, though, is finding their way into the enemy base. He's even waiting out here with the king for the move on to the berries, expecting it, but B, as that scoured, is going to fall for it. MarineLorD's like, I guess I leave. Does B know he's versus King's Palace? I believe so. He came to, like, about here, right, with Gilded Archers, so he should have glimpsed it. B, look at that. Relics are quickly finding their way home here. We've got a 4-relic game. Other one's in the corner. This is pretty solid. Like, overall, actually, I think B, he's got to be feeling it a little bit as well. For a moment, it kind of felt like he may have let 1 or 2 extra relics slip back the other way, but credit to him. And MarineLorD does, of course, still have the eco value tilting in his favor quite heavily because of the 2 TC. I don't think B's going to try to mirror that. I think instead, B's going to focus on scaling military up to about 120, 130 military pop. And then you look to float between the 70 to 90 villager count maximum as the game goes on. Now, what's nice about that, Order of the Dragon can feel really good on this particular map because when you're playing on Coastal Cliffs, it means that you can actually play into an Elsback and secure the Sacred Site win condition. So a really cool move is on the table for him as time goes on here. MarineLorD. Wonder what he sees his win condition as now. That worries me, by the way. I don't like to see the crossbowman here. Your opponent built knights. What he doesn't know, though, is that MarineLorD stopped building knights. He's switching into spear, longbow full. Which is slightly dangerous against Gilded Archers, rather. I would say, like, right now, MarineLorD doesn't have a solid answer for those archers. With the scale armor, the extra range. Like, ideally, you look for horsemen here. I think if MarineLorD sees what B is doing and pivots horsemen plus longbows, he's got it. He's going to need more farms for that, though. Nah, it's quite the big reveal. So, sees spears, sees Gilded Archers. Oh, no. Once again, based on what he saw, it makes sense. He doesn't know about the Gilded Crossbowmen because B hasn't revealed them yet. I believe they are still standing back here. Yeah, they are in the reserve. That's huge. I love that B done that. A lot of players just love using their Select All Army. If he'd done Select All Army, the cat would have been out of the bag. This way remains more of an enigma. We don't know if the cat is dead in the bag, alive in the bag. It could be a dog in the bag. It could be a turtle in the bag. Unfortunately, for MarineLorD, it's going to be a large sum of excrement thrown at him. Because going into Men-at-Arms is going to set him up rather for defeat. Lance Detector as well. So many of them. Alright, ones if you think B's going to take this, twos if you think MarineLorD is. Do we get more games? Wooder is not from Matera. You guys know that? That's a lot of ones. Whew. Has he done it? Do we believe? I think we might. MarineLorD. He's about to find out what's really waiting behind door number 2. The crazy thing is that still the crossbow's revealed. He's only revealed 3 of them. There's 3 more actually hiding. So I wonder if he actually did glimpse that, because he's still got man-at-arms queued up. We do have the outpost crawl out. Inspire Warrior's response is smart by B. That actually offsets the attack speed buff for the English in its entirety. How many farms are we up to? Okay, 4 farm clusters. This is where your army inflation can get a bit crazy. Lombo's just kind of struggling to stay away from these guys. This is ridiculous. I called these guys Order of the Floaters, or like, you know, Gilded Floaters before. Sorry, it's Gilded Gliders, wasn't it? Yeah, Order of the Gliders. Floaters sounds like when they're bad. Order of the Gliders because they shoot and move, essentially. That's what it looks like. They shoot so quickly that they're already moving before they finish their animation. It's so difficult to try and edge the range. Remember, this unit, it's not that much of a difference in terms of difference to engage. Speed of engage, clash now underway. Brute forces with the horsemen, but the big issue is now the last net follow-up. Men-at-arms get thrown out as well. That's not good either. The crossbowmen appear in the way on top of that. Gilded Archers just making sure that Lombos are kept in check. And B ready to check MarineLorD out of the hotel on this one. No doubt about it. We've got to push. We've got to shove. And there's a cliff on the side that you can easily kick him off of. While yelling, "This is dragon." I think that's how it would go. MarineLorD doesn't see it that way yet, though. No, refuses to wave the white flag. I mean, you can see why from his POV. He has got a 40 villager lead. But when you consider the passive gold trickle, the efficiency of Gilded Villages, the lead is a little bit deceptive. And the army is still a really big problem for MarineLorD to overcome. Yeah, these walls are getting a bit weird, by the way. I mean, this one was always funky, like... Maybe at least connect it to the gold? I don't know what you want from me. You bet everything on MarineLorD? Everything! Oh my god, how are you going to put your kid through college? I'm not paying for it. I got 2 of my own to worry about. God knows how expensive that crap's going to be by the time it's time. It was already too expensive when I done it. Whew. You guys know I went to uni for 3 years. I studied advanced elements in how to program in games, 3D model in games. You know, multiple skill sets. And now, for a living, I convince people to say Kek W and Kappa in chat. Who's the real winner? There it is. I got the power. Alright, 5 minutes out from B victory. MarineLorD's making the move for an age up. Berkshire? Or do we go crazy with like a wingguard and try to thread the needle? This has to be Berkshire. He's going to Berkshire on the forward if he can, and then try to adjust some crossbars behind it. This is ballsy. On the very edge, in range, being seen here as well. The mangoes. Wait, what is he doing with them? He's baiting himself more than the enemy. The men-at-arms are going to be able to body block. We'll have to keep running away. The Lombos in a bit of trouble. The Landschnechter. Wasting a lot of time on a few troops, though, but the mangoes! Horsemen get in! And the Berkshire, this is not gonna work. MarineLorD, come on! Be a man of reason! got just a teensy bit back. Mango's still alive. Springalds are trying to change that. One of them is going to be brought down. The other one forced away. And I believe he just deleted the Springals. They weren't killed. No, he actually deleted those. I don't think I've ever seen B delete Springals before. He doesn't waste those things. But the villagers are now on the way. This is where it's very obvious what you're doing. B, does he have the pressure point to keep it going, though? He's running out of horsemen fast. Mangoes have been removed again. Villagers need to find their way over to that worker line. If they do, if the Gilded Villagers find... Gilded Archers find their way over to the villagers, they will be able to wipe the map. But right now, they've slowed things down. Here we go. Killing blow could be on the way. Berkshire Palace now going up. But no, he gets stopped. He can't reach it. The Gilded Archers are now starting to trickle onto the village account, but with MarineLorD with such a lead, he doesn't care about that. The landmark matters more. Age 4 achieved. MarineLorD will not go quietly into the night. Absolutely crazy. I mean, that should have been it. That should have been us just calling GG. Next game, please. But somehow, some way, this man does it. He gets it up. Sacred Site win condition removed. And now we have to be real about the state of B's game. That was everything. The whole kitchen sink, he's got 10 farms at home. Relic Gold is at least going to be helpful. But this lead, like the farm state, now enclosures as well. I think MarineLorD's going to just be clean 4-0ing it. It's got to be a demoralizing one as well. I mean, like, MarineLorD, I don't think it's necessarily that B just played bad per se. It did feel like we weren't privy to that creative flair that we've come to expect out of B, finals after finals after finals. MarineLorD's more orderly fashion to AoE 4 just seems to have done its classic thing in AoE 4. There's definitely an argument, like, I guess you could say B, like, there was some hesitance. I mean, but I would say we've seen that same hesitance with people on Order of the Dragon all the time. There's something about this Civ. When you're ahead, you just don't feel it. I think it can be seen as something as simple as a raw count. When you look at the size of this army, and then you look at the size of this army, and then I'm telling you, guys, this army is bigger than this army. You're like, KP, shut up. You're a troll. That's not true at all. No, it really is. This is huge. From a population power perspective, it should be capable of breaking. Instead, it's going to end up getting broke here. We have got the Trebs trying to siege through the Berkshire, but it's such a difficult task, especially considering it could just be repaired with wood. In the meantime, Bombards are now moving up. It's going to remove some of the attack speed aura, but that's going to be replaced swiftly. On B, I don't really see a way back from this. The Gilded Archers with the scale armor were quite nice before Elite Lombos came into the picture. Now that armor doesn't feel as relevant. There's still high amounts of ranged armor, but we've also got incendiary arrows ahead of us. The attack speed buff is in. And that's before we did talk about the men-at-arms. The men-at-arms are a problem. 10 ranged armor, 8 melee armor. He's trying to get back to the crossbow and to stabilize. Bombards now going off the outpost. No E-repair chaining. It's just going to be a defense remove. Flash begins, and I don't really see the front line. B, he's trying to be budgeted, efficient about this. He knows he needs to be, so he just needs range units. But without any melee, good old-fashioned English men-at-arms get to chow down. And behind this, yeah, sure, the first wave of MAA die. But there's a second, third, fourth, and fifth wave to come. And you can see that B is struggling to keep up with this. It's exhausting what little economy he has. Count getting closer and closer. Warlord's going to come in to try and slow things down. Get him a little bit of a breather. That ain't going to work. And it looks like MarineLorD is about to take the military lead. I say take the lead in the set. But he never lost it. So we're back to 4-0 stomps. Leaves a bit of a sting in the grand finals. But sometimes undeniable, unavoidable. MarineLorD this week has been undeniable, unavoidable. He's only dropped 2 games the entire week. And the crazy thing is none of those were in the grand finals. The place where it's meant to be closest, most threatening. This man was most switched on. And I think now it's time for B to switch off.